We'll talk dirt and fertilizers. Patti has been, how long have you been calling on it? I mean, like decades, right? I mean, it's been forever.
Well, no, years your Brad.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
When we did the whole Allen switch.
Oh, that's right.
So it's been about 7.
Okay, only 7
But
years.
I've actually been with the company for 22 years.
There we go. So when you put those things down, put the microphone on. So Patti she represents Growell. Go get the microphone. There you go. Patti is Growell out of, is it Buckeye? You guys are on the cast. You guys are everywhere. Basically in farm country of Arizona. And they help us put together our fertilizer and all of our soils. So all of our soils that we sell are custom blends. We've been perfected the recipes. Soil and fertilizer is kind of like baking. You need the right recipe to get it right, and then if you do it right, you just keep the same recipe over and over because you know it works in the yard. So they make all of our fertilizers for us. I kind of make the recipe, and then they go, we can do this for you. They blend it, make it go, and put it in our bag. If some of our product looks a little cheesy, it's because it's the only way we can get it back. So our fertilizer is a plain white bag with a lick and sticks label on it. That's just, we can't afford to have something manufactured that's high gloss. I wish I could. For one store, we aren't big enough. But with them, their partnership, they're willing to work with us, small companies, mom and pops, because that's kind of their forte as well. So with that, give it up for Patti from Growell.
And luckily, we've been doing water soil for them for about 20 years. We bag those products. We do a lot of private label bagging for the nursery industry, and then we also do our own brands that are you'll see them in a lot of different markets and things. I actually do sales, and I'm the sales manager, and so I really enjoy, I'm hands-on on both ends. I'm in the yard once a week with the guys in production. I go through the yard. Our yard is about 60 acres. 40 of it is composting product. They're either getting in product and sorting it and separating it and producing the base products, which are compost or mulch. And then the other parts of it is set up with the finished product. It takes months and months to make compost. It is not something that's done fast. So we start out with, stuff coming in at the back of the yard, and it goes in a big pit, and it gets worked and worked and worked, and then it gets put into another big pile when it's ready, and then that keeps getting worked and composted and turned, and then that goes into another pile. So it's week after week, after month, the product is being made, and so it's not an easy process. I always chuckle at people when they say, well, it's too expensive, but if you realize how much time went into the product to make a good product, there's not a lot of money in it. I'd like to make more money, but anyways, but it's a fun company, and it's a fun way to see what is done. We're the 6th largest recycler in the state. We were the 4th, but we had to stop recycling some of our products because of EPA. They're very intense. We're down off of 27th Avenue in Lower Buckeye in Phoenix. We are in an industrial area, but because of air quality and the products put particulates into the air, we had to quit doing some of the recycling that we were doing. Because of the EPA does not allow us to put too much dust into the air, which everybody wants good air quality, so we have to work with it. So we had to scale down our procedures on some of ours. So it bumped us into the 6th largest recycler. And I always was really proud of that, because recycling is a big thing in our country. We need to be recycling. So products that are recycled to make our compost and things are green waste, of course, and we're real picky on what comes into our yard. We do not allow any palm fronds, we do not allow any oleanders, we do not allow anything that's going to be a contaminant type thing to recycle. We also recycle a lot of manure products, both in horse products and in cow manure, so we do that. The products that we make are everything from the cheap steer manure that you buy everywhere, or inexpensive, up to the quality soils. And our soils go from a lower level potting soil to a medium potting soil to a supreme potting soil. And again, that's because we have different levels of product that we do, more time that goes into it, the different sizes of the products and everything. We actually have probably about 8 different screens that we run on our products of trying to screen out the materials, everything from a very fine 3/8 inch minus material all the way up to an inch type screen, and they run the products through big screens to take everything out of it. And it's all the type of, whether it's going to be a potting soil, like I said, a compost, a mulch, or a topsoil, or a regular steer manure. That's
Patti,
why-
can you break down, because that's confusing for folks.
Right.
Can you simplify for us what's the difference between potting soil, the high end, to mulch, to topsoil, to manures, or just bark?
Right.
What goes into each one of those?
We put this together for you that are here to kind of
We can
read
help you
and be
hand
able
that
to
out.
choose what you like or what you need, what your project is. Okay, a steer manure is basically going to be a steer or cow manure. I know it's mostly called steer manure, but it usually comes, in Arizona, it comes from a dairy. It's going to come, so it's going to be a cow. It is brought in right from the dairy, put in a big pile. They do turn it a few times, but it's not what we consider composted. We do have to take steer manure and mix it into a compost because the machines that we bag with now will not take raw steer manure. It's too wet, it just won't go through our machine.
We call that gross here at Waters Garden. That's just
I know.
raw. Oh.
Now, the difference is they have a composted steer manure. We do take steer manure, we compost that steer manure. Now, composting is a process or a product. So composting is a process. If you have a compost pile and you compost, then you're taking all your cuttings, your leaves, raw produce. You can take raw fruit, things like that. Never anything cooked, and put it into a compost pile. And the microbes that are in those products will break it down. Usually you'll put an accelerator in there, type of a bone meal, blood meal product that's going to help accelerate and bring the worms and bring your microbes into that area, and they're going to eat it and chew it, and you put water on it and you give air to it, and it's going to break down and be a compost for you. Basically, we do that for you, but we do it in 100-yard loads at a time. I mean, our piles are probably 100, 200 feet high. So they're taking big equipment and turning it and everything like that. So a regular steer manure is just brought in, dumped in a big pile, mixed a couple times just to get some of the moisture out of it, because it is very moist at all times when it comes in. And then it's mixed with compost to lighten it up and ran into the hopper, put in a bag, and sent out into the field. So there's no time into steer manure, and that's why it can be so much cheaper. Composted steer manure, like they have here, is going to be composted. It's going to be heat treated, so it takes the weeds out of it, it takes the salts out of it. It's going to be a product that can go right into your soil, and then it's mixed with some compost also to lighten it up, put in the bag, and sent out to the companies that we sell it to, so they can sell it to you. That's why everything gets a little higher in price. Regular compost, organic compost, or mulch is going to be just a base product. Now, there are different grades. Like I said, we have some products that are screened down to a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch minus. We have other products that are only a full inch product, so that screen is going to be, if you can imagine, 1 inch by 1 inch, so it's going to be big chunks that's going to fall through that screen. It's going to be put in that bag, and those are usually used for more top dressing or like large trees where you want a lot of aeration in that soil. Our soil throughout most of the state is either very desert and sandy and alkaline, or it's very composted, or not composted, but not as alkaline, but it's still sandy where it doesn't have a lot of aeration in it and things. So when you're planting big trees, you use a compost that's a bigger compost. When you're planting smaller things like your fruits and vegetables and things, you use a finer compost or a mulch, so that because you don't need as much aeration, but you need organic matter. Adding organic matter to your soil is always going to enhance your soil, get your microbionics going in the soil, which are the good things like your worms and your little bugs and things that are happy little bugs and want to be eating up the bad things in the soil. So you want to put compost always, or mulch, into your soil so that you're constantly adding nutrients into the soil and making it aerated, making it a good environment for both your plant and the natural microbes that are in the soil. Now, potting soil is where you can plant directly in potting soil. And why potting soil is going to be more expensive than, say, a mulch or a compost product is because it's especially made to withstand to be planted directly in. You're going to use potting soil, say, in a pot. You can use it in your garden if you need to add more aeration, if you need to add more water holding capacity. If you're doing raised gardens and you just want to take, say, your soil's not good at all and you want to top off that last 6 or 8 inches to do a garden, then you would use a potting soil. And potting soil is going to also have a good compost base, fully composted, no weed seeds, no salts or anything like that. And then you mix, for the waterless one, we mix in peat moss and perlite. And the peat moss is going to hold moisture. It's going to distribute your fertilizers and everything through the soil really well. And then it's also going to keep that fertilizer stay in the soil. Now, perlite is used to keep aeration in the soil so that it doesn't compact down, and it allows that root system to grow, keep expanding out. Because the farther the root system goes, the better the plant's going to do. And then it also keeps it from compacting, so your compost doesn't compact and get harder with all the watering and things like that. I lost my train of thought there real quick. You can use potting soils to plant in your garden and enhance your garden, and it's going to put that peat moss, it's going to put your perlite right into your soil and mix it in. You can use it as an amendment. A lot of people don't because they say, oh, that's too expensive. But the more water holding capacity you have, the more ability you have to keep your fertilizers in that root system, the better production you're going to get. You're going to get healthier flowers. You're going to get more vegetables. You're going to get a garden that's going to produce so much more. So always think about that. If you're enhancing your garden, the more you pay for it, 9 times out of 10, the more you're going to get. Yeah, that's the potting soil. So that does have what it has in there. And I have samples for everybody. Come and get them before you leave. We have a pot or a big container open so you can look at it and see like that. Garden soil. I see in a lot of the box stores, they'll have it in, say, garden soil. All that is a mulch. That does not have any peat moss in it. That does not have any perlite in it. It does not have any vermiculite in it. It's just another way to say mulch or compost. So they usually put a higher price on it because it's the way that they're labeling it. And again, yes, it will enhance your garden, but you don't plant right in that. So there's a lot of products out there that are very inexpensive but very deceiving. And always
all I heard was, don't shop at box stores. Shop at independent nurseries. They have better stuff.
They do.
What I liked about her, I used to have another company before Growell, and one of my mulches, I had my recipe. I said, here's my recipe, fill my bag. And I found horseshoes in the bag. I went, that is wrong. They had the recycle, and metals over here, glass over here, compost here. I went, that's it. And then I opened up another bag of, I think, potting soil, and I found manure in it. I think it was human excrement. It was gross. I'm going, that is just wrong. That is not quality control. I pulled that out of Southern California. I shipped it over to them. I've never had an issue because you're much cleaner. You're much more separated. You're much more quality. Just consistent. I know what you're going to get every time. Every bag should be the same recipe every time. The brownies coming out of the oven, this is a family recipe passed down from your grandparents, should be the same every time. It shouldn't change. So we do screen things down much tighter than you should. It's much higher grade than you should. Really, we could probably screen it more and save $1. But I don't think people are coming here to save $1. They're coming here because it's consistency, quality, and it's going to work every time. So that's the bar that we try to hit every time. And you help us fit that bill every single time. They also mentioned the fertilizer. They put our fertilizer together. It is time to fertilize. And it's an organic or natural fertilizer. We can't call it organic because it's got iron and sulfur. Once you put a mineral in it, you can't call it organic. But it's natural, much safer for your birds, your pets. It's even safer for your husband. Slinging it out there, or your gardener, or whoever. It's just better. And organics or naturals, cottonseed meal is the main ingredient. Naturals break down much slower than chemicals or petroleum-based, let's say Scott's turf builder. Much slower, so the plant can absorb more of the food that's put out there. So a lot of those chemical fertilizers, yes, they're less expensive, but they flush through the soil so quickly that most of it's gone before the plant can even pick it up. Then it goes down the water stream so that you and I can drink it later because it goes into the drinking water, into the water tables. Or who knows where it goes. But I have a responsibility. If I'm going to sell 40 tons of whatever fertilizer, 6 semi-loads of fertilizer, I have a responsibility to the community to have better, safer stuff. So.
Well, and your organics work in the soil, they make your soil healthier.
Correct.
Whereas synthetics are there and they're available for your plant to absorb it, but they're not doing anything for your soil. And like I was talking about in soils, you know, we want to see worms, we want to see microbes, we want to see that that soil is healthy. And when you add a lot of organic matter in there, whether it be an organic fertilizer or whether it be an organic soil, it's going to be healthy for that soil and continue to make that soil healthy. When you add a lot of synthetics into it, you're actually destroying what you've worked hard to produce. It's still going to be healthy and make the plant grow, but it's not working through the soil. Then you're going to have to keep adding more soil to it.
Let me
So especially
interpret
on
that
your
for you.
gardens.
We put mycorrhizal fungi in our plants so they'll root out better in your gardens. You put chemicals onto that plant now, it kills all that off. If you use water's fertilizer on top of the water's plant that has been seeded with these beneficial microbes, it actually enhances and builds up the roots.
The root
Explain that
system,
better?
the root system is the most important part. I mean, the plant can't be healthy if it has a weak root system. So
So,
if you keep your root system healthy, you're going to have a healthy plant. It's going to last long. It's going to bloom longer. It's going to bloom prettier. It's going to be a healthy plant if we get a drought situation and you don't get a chance to water. Or if you get a frost, the plant's going to be healthier, so that anytime that you're using your better fertilizers, you're using your better soils, making a better environment for it, it just makes it stronger so that it can withstand.
all I heard was shop at Waters Garden Center. That's all I heard. She spoke for 5 minutes, shop at Waters Garden. That's good. Okay, so Patty's going to be downstairs potting up stuff. If you buy a pot plant, she'll pot it for you.
Yeah.
The soil's included. She's got free samples. That bag that was floating around, take a sample. It's not enough. Maybe you can do a house plant or something, but that's what's in the big bag. That is a super quality potting soil. I test that against all the brands every other year or so. Nothing grows better in a straight soil than that soil, guaranteed. Because I try it. I want the best. We're noticed for the best. That's what we have. So that's kind of look at that. You'll see the blend. You can look at it and go, that's pretty nice. And then lastly, I'll leave it with, Pat, why don't you go and, everyone got a handout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you pass that to, let's give it to Chris is next, Savano's. Also, one last thing. I used to sell cheap manure you'll find at the box stores. It like stinks, it's heavy, it's gooey, it like leaks all over you when you pick it up. It's gross. And I'm putting this stuff in the back of Mercedes-Benz, Lincolns, Land Rovers. We have we have Ferraris come in every once. We just had a Ferrari with 2 6-pack, no, 2 flats, flowers going out of it. Where are you gonna put that? The trunk is like this big. So I don't want to put that into the back of my customer's car and stink it up for the next week. It's just embarrassing. And so I said, we need to get the smell out of this, and they helped me develop a deodorized manure. You'd feel comfortable putting your hands right in it. We just got the blend of manure to composted material, a better compost with manure. Now you have a deodorized quality manure. So they help you do that kind of stuff. I don't know how they do this stuff. Here's my goal. Quick.
I'm getting ready to make like about 10 raised beds
Yeah.
for flowers.
Yeah.
So do I put total potting soil in those?
So she's got new raised bed she wants to fill in. What should she fill it with? If you can afford it, fill it with potting soil. Because that's our grower's mix. If you take our plant, you put it directly in that, it will go, oh, I just have more soil. Plants don't like to change soil types. They don't like to go between different bands. They don't like to change. They want to stay with this flavor and keep going, if they can. So that'll give you the max. If you can't afford that, you use filler towards the bottom. The garden soil is brought in by a dump truck to get you mass. And the top layer should be potting soil. So the planting area up there. So again, what we want is the plant doesn't realize it's in a different kind of soil, so it just roots out and goes. It takes a variable out of that gardening. So now all you're dealing with is birds and javelina, frost, things you can control. Some of those things you can't control. Soil, once it's in there, that's it. That's the most important thing. You get the soil right, every gardening is easy. So my backyard, I have this classic raised slope, 2-story house dug in the back of the hill, beautiful vistas, but the soil is terrible. I tried to grow in it, couldn't. So I finally put paper blocks at the bottom of the hill and then backfilled behind that with soils, mainly potting soil, or whatever open bag was broken that I couldn't sell. It goes home with me. And all of a sudden gardening went 100% just like that. Just instantly better because the soil was controlled at that point.